Nobody knew how or why the humans were immortal. Not immortal in the sense that they couldn't die, but in the sense that nothing seemed to be able to permanently kill them, besides another human. Intentionally, at least. A human accidentally gets spaced without a suit? Totally fine, just needs some oxygen. Human gets blasted by a Sterilian's rail cannon? They just reform back to pristine condition. A mad Karnan scientist infests an entire human colony for his bioweapons experiments? They seem to treat it like a bad cold at worst. An asteroid is not intercepted by the orbital defenses, as smashes a human colony to pieces. They're more annoyed at their loss of property. A human accidentally slips when mountain climbing. They get back up and try again. Human gets melted by the acidic spray of a Krint warrior drone. They just slow off the goo and punch the Krint in its compound eyes. A human and his buddy are jousting using giant ear cleaner things and ancient golf carts until one gets knocked off and breaks his neck. They just get back up, reset their neck and yell, "Again!" An entire fleet of human ships gets obliterated. The crew just ends up boarding the enemy fleet and taking it for their own. And fortunately for those who successfully pull this off, prize rules are still a thing. I would like to point out that, also unexplained, whatever a human has physically on them when they die also reforms. Here are just some detailed examples as evidence of human immortality. The 137th Orbital Drop Battalion was deployed to the surface of Cerelia 4 to establish a beachhead for the rest of the invasion force. Half the 137th were wiped out by ground and air-based defences before they even reached the ground, and they lost all their armour on the way down as well. The Allied fleet was appalled by the amount of casualties the Terrans were taking, and yet the Terran general stood there stone-faced. By the time the other members of the Allied army reached the beachhead, they expected to find the humans barely holding on, with piles of corpses and limbs spread throughout the site. What they instead found was a determined defence by the 137's ODB, as they repelled wave after wave of Ceruleans. One Allied trooper saw a human's head get blown apart as he took a railgun shot to the head, and then the human's head reformed. He picked up his rifle and he continued to fight. When questioned by the other commanders of the fleet, the human commanders just shrugged and said, "Don't know. For as long as we can tell, this has always been the case." A human was once found petting a Varaxian deathhound, a vicious and bloodthirsty creature that could wipe out hundreds if caught unawares. When asked how he accomplished this feat, he simply said, "The old bugger got tired of gnawing on me leg." A human was once spaced by a drunk Cerulean, not to be confused with Ceruleans, and smacked into the surface of Cerulia Prime at 100 times the terminal velocity for a human. When news and cleanup crews arrived, they discovered a perfectly intact human, clad in only an engineering jumpsuit, who was more annoyed about trying to figure out how to get back to the ship without any credits on him, than the fact that he seemed to have shattered the ground underneath him. A human patrol frigate, the UHS Get Good, was shattered by a surprise ram from a pirate cruiser. The shield was not up in time to mitigate the damage. By the time local forces arrived to assist, the 239 humans registered on the Get Good had already successfully boarded the cruiser and had overrun the pirates on board. It is unfortunate that the pirates, in the words of the crew of the Get Good, suffered an unfortunate case of sudden atmospheric depressurization. The crew were eventually successful in petitioning their council to allow them to keep the ship, and after extensive modifications, she was rechristened the, again, Get Good. As you can see, the humans have experienced a wide range of disasters and incidents that, if they had involved any other species, would have killed anyone involved. Many have tried to delve into the reason humans cannot seem to die by any other means but their own. Scientists speculate that an unexplained stellar phenomenon or genetic tampering is to blame, occurring so long ago that no records remain of the event that caused it. Occultists and other religious folk say that humanity either entered a pact with a god, multiple gods, or some other eldritch being. One human even joked that humans had escaped death itself so many times and in so many ways that it eventually cursed them with eternal life in a fit of blind anger, only ever being able to die at the intentional hands of another human. No one took that explanation seriously except the religious fanatics and cultists. Some cults and religions have even sprung up within the more primitive or religious species of the galaxy, with many worshipping the humans as living gods. though non-psychopathic humans hate being worshipped, and a select group of them actively work to dismantle such worships. While we may never know how humanity gained its, as they say, curse, the galaxy is grateful that humanity has not seen fit to exploit their seeming immortality to its fullest.